So we have almost come to the end of 2022, all right? And the three Singapore banks, DBS, UOB and OCBC, all right, it's pretty much back to where we were just when we began 2022, all right? So what about 2023? Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be like sideways, or are we going to see more strength? What are some of the key levels that we want to take note of? Hey guys, Joby here, top tier Myzel, trader in Philip Securities, and in today's video we'll be doing coverage on the three Singapore banks, DBS, OCBC and UOB again. Alright, I kind of done a review just more than a month back, so do a video on the three banks, right, where we are right now, what is the outlook as we head into 2023. Alright, are there any signs of the trend, right, starting to turn up, maybe heading into a little bit more bullish into 2023? That's what we are going to discover. So make sure you watch this video all the way to the end if you want to find out on these three banks, DBS, UOB and OCBC. Let's go. So the first bank I'll talk about would be DBS, right? DBS right here trading at about $33.41, right? So over the past like 1 month, we actually saw quite a good move up. We broke this resistance level I talked about in my previous video, and that would be that $34. So we're actually moving up and down. You can see right here, since August, from 32 to 34, swing up, swing down, swing up, swing down, and eventually we broke this $34 level, and that's where some upside actually started. We raised our targets higher to about $36, and it seems like we have hit our targets. Let me just show you, targets were drawn to about $36, so it seems like we have hit our targets about 36, and some profit taking actually came back over the past 2 to 3 weeks, right? And what happens was, just over the past few days, right, we broke down this $34 support level. So this resistance became a support, and it seems like we kind of like tested and attempted to break that 34 support, and we are kind of like still below it. So a little bit of weakness, I would say, in the short term. Just take note, in the short term we might actually see some weakness. Let me just quickly draw some downside targets again back down, maybe from 34 all the way back down to 32 to 33. I think somewhere around here, that is where potentially we can see some buying pressure coming back in. And 32 would be a good support level. I mean, that's where we've been holding from August all the way to October before we broke 34. So I think that 32 would become like a key level to prevent more downside from happening. That is like a support level. All right, so I think for DBS, you can see that this is the price level, 33.41, pretty much back to where we were at the beginning of the year. This was where we were at the beginning of the year. You can see that, yeah, beginning of the year also somewhere around there, $33.40. So we went up, down, and we are back to this same price level right here at the beginning of the year, right? So I think not much of a move for DBS for 2022, pretty much back to where we were. But I think what happens is that for 2023, what is the outlook? So I would say that, in terms of the longer term, we are still pretty much consolidating, but there are indeed some signs of the trend turning up, right? Why do I say that? So very simple. Look at this right here. So since 2020, 2021, all right, the trend was pretty much up, very strong uptrend. We can see that this 100 days moving average line, you can see this red line and blue line, they're both pointing up, and prices were above it. So very strong uptrend 2020 to 2021. But somewhere around like 2021, 2022, you can see these two lines started to flatten out a little bit, and eventually the red line, the 100 days moving average, went below the blue line. So that's a sign of trend change, right? In terms of an uptrend to a bit of a downtrend. All right, this is what happened somewhere in like July or June 2022, and yeah, we were pretty much consolidating. But over the past like 1-2 weeks, right, you can see that this red line, all right, this red line, the 100 days moving average, has managed, came down, and it started to push up, it's consolidated, and eventually right now the red line has gone above that blue line. That means 100 days moving average above that 200 days moving average. So that's a sign of a trend change, I would say, back again, upwards direction, from down, all right, to up, like back to where we were in like 2020, 2021. Of course, this hasn't played out yet, but at least this red line has managed to climb back above that blue line, like what we saw right here in 2020 before the uptrend started, with the red above the blue. So this is what's happening right now, red above the blue. I think if we can hold above that, 33 to 34 level, consolidate above, in the short term, we might still move up and down, but I think as long as we stay above those key support levels, the uptrend can slowly start to play up, hopefully, or hopefully might just retrace down a little bit to near 33, and then rebound back up above 34, and then we start to consolidate in this higher range. Same thing from 34, all right, all the way to 36. That would be like the higher range, and then consolidate a while, and then after that, if we break that 36, it will be up to retest the most recent high that we have seen in I think beginning of the year, somewhere in like February. That would be like $37.50. That could be kind of like the upside move above $34, right? So just take note, this is DBS. There are indeed some signs of the uptrend, in the mid to longer term, but of course in the short term, the fact that we broke down below this $34 level, we might see a bit of short term, might hit down a little bit, but that's where some bargain hunting can come back again. All right, let's take a look at DBS from my 1GT system, one good trend, whereby a couple of bullish signals over the past few months and kind of guides us on entry and exit as well, right? So I would say that since July, August, we had a few bullish signals. You can see the trend started to turn up. Bullish entry signal went up from like about $29, $29.50 to around $32.50, and it was consolidating, and the trend started to turn up. You can see that the bar started to turn from red in color to about green in color right now. So as I say, there were some signs of the trend starting to turn up right now, all right, even though there might be some short-term weakness. So yeah, a couple of bullish signals. This was one in October. We got a bullish signal as it broke, like I think the $33 went up a little bit to like 35.50 around here. Got an exit, and this is where we are right now, coming down. So you can see that this is where we were. As I mentioned, that 36 was like a little bit of a resistance. We couldn't get past there, and then we got this exit signal, and recently we got this new bearish signal. So I know some of you might ask, why do we have a bearish signal when it's like in an uptrend? I mean, the bar is green in color. Well, the fact is that the trend bar is more of the mid to longer term. So the trend bar could be up, but in the short term, we could have like a bearish signal coming out, and it might kind of like break certain support level, and we might see some short-term weakness as well, right? So I think, yeah, right here we got a bearish signal, red arrow down, all right, and I think we broke this $34 support that I talked about, the $34. So we broke this level. You can see now we are right around here. So as I said, below 34, we can see some short-term downside. We might head towards that, 32 to 33. Hopefully, then we'll see an exit, maybe a new bullish signal that can lead the rebound up again, right? And yeah, so that would be for DBS. So ultimately, you can see that this trend bar is still green in color, so as long as we stay above that 33 or maybe 34 level, I think the uptrend can slowly start to take shape in the mid to long term, and as we head into 2023 as well. Okay, let's take a look at UOB right now, trading at about $31.01. So I think UOB has staged quite a good reversal, I would say, since like October, November. You can see that we were pretty much consolidating from this 26 to 28. Look at this right here, swing down, swing up. We tested 28, went down a little bit, tested, came back down, and eventually right over here I mentioned that we kind of broke this $28 level. So there were some upside targets that were drawn when it broke 28, maybe to like 30, 31, and it seems like we have kind of like pushed higher. All right, and as we push higher, you can see that the support also rises, and it does not really come back down to back to where we were, but it kind of like consolidates at a higher support level, and that's a good sign of strength as well. So quite a good, I would say, quite a good move up for UOB since like October, November we broke 28, and we have been pushing higher. So right over here, you can see that when it broke 28, this green line. So the green line would be what we call the 20 days moving average here. You can see that this green line also kind of like came back up above that red line. So 20 days above the red line, which is the 100 days moving average. That's a sign of strength in terms of the short term as we started to push up, right here. And of course, this green line is still pointing up. So in the short term, we want to look at like the green line, the 20 days moving average, and if prices is like above this green line, and if this green line is still pointing up or down, right? So kind of like push up here, and we are at about 31.01. So this green line, look at this green line is still pointing up. You can see it's still pointing up, prices still above it. So I think it looks quite good in the short term. In the short term, it still looks quite okay. In fact, I think we might be seeing a little bit of support, all right, from $30. We have been consolidating, but seems like this support has gone up a little bit higher. So let me just shift this up a little bit to maybe about the $30.50, right where the 20 days moving average line is as well, about $30.50. Of course, if you want to give a bit of leeway, the psychological support level would be at $30, but I think over the past 1-2 weeks, it seems like $30.50 is the support, right? All the way back up to the immediate resistance at about 31.50. All right, so I think that would be kind of like the range for UOB, trading this range from 30.50 to 31.50. All right, and I think if you can like consolidate here a while, and eventually, of course, if we break this 31.50 level, the upside can happen all the way back as we rebound all the way up to the previous high that we've seen. That would be a critical level to watch, is the 33 level. That was pretty much back to where we were at the beginning of the year, right here in February. Somewhere in March, we neared it and we came down as well. So I think around that 33 level, that could be like the next upside, right? So that would be like the short term, right? The short term range, look at it right here, same thing, 30.50 to 31.50. In fact, I think if I give a bit of leeway, it's okay. We can just shift this back down. I think $30 would be a firmer support level. I think anything above that $30, that would probably see this bang, right? UOB still holding quite strongly. The uptrend can still continue to form up. All right. And what about the longer term? So longer term wise, look at this. We want to look at the 100 days moving average and the blue line, the 200 days moving average. You can see that this red line is still kind of like sloping up. It hasn't really get back above that blue line like what has happened for DBS. So probably a while more. I think if we can hold above that 30, 31, that is where this red line will slowly move up, eventually crossing back above the blue line, right? And that is where the longer term uptrend can potentially start to form up firmly as well. All right, quick one, UOB on my 1GT system. So very quickly, you can see that somewhere around October, end of October, we got this really good bullish signal right here on the 28th of October, a green arrow up. It was like pretty much consolidating. We got this bullish signal, and as I mentioned, we went up from like 27, 26, broke that 28 level, and went all the way up to like about $30.50. We got this exit. All right, and what happens was a few days later, we got this new, all right, bullish entry signal. It's like a green arrow up, started to push up a little bit, and now we are still consolidating just above that 30 to 30.50 support, and there are no exits yet. Right, so yeah, this is where we are right now. We got a recent bullish, a new bullish signal, right? No exit, so it could still be good. As I mentioned, if we can hold above that 30.50, all right, eventually breaking that 31.50 resistance, that is where this bullish signal can continue to play out. We might push up to like 33 or 32 plus 33, and that's where we might see an exit. It can also guide us to get out and to take some profit as well. All right, so this is UOB. It looks quite good in terms of the trend. All right, starting to turn upwards direction in terms of the uptrend. You can see the red bar changing to green bar as well. All right, so looking like a really good uptrend is starting to form, right, in 2023 as well. Okay, final bank OCBC right here, trading at about $12.24 right here. So I would say that this resistance would be key. I think I talked about it many times, and that would be around that 12.50. So 12.50, 12.60 seems like we have kind of approached the 12.60, and a little bit of selling came back. So 12.60, 12.60 would be this firm resistance, whereby we have tested many times since even in 2021 as well. Look at this, 1, 2, 3. All right, it was a bit of a resistance. We broke up, came back down, resistance, and this about 2-3 weeks back we touched and we came back down. So about 5-6 times, so we have been touching this 12.50 to 12.60, and we just couldn't get past it. So I think that would become like a key level to watch, all right, for more upside to happen as we head into 2023. All right, 12.60, I think we can break that level and some pretty good decent volume upside can happen. All right, in the short term, maybe all the way up to $13, and then that $13.50, right? That is for OCBC. So I think in the short term, we are actually seeing a bit of support right here. So I think $12, this line that I've drawn right here, that would be the $12 psychological level. Also where the longer term moving averages are. Look at this right here, red and blue, they're right over here. So I think $12 would be some sort of a psychological support level. So it's like range is 12 to 12.60 is like a 60 cents range as we consolidate here, hopefully attempting to break the 12.60 again, but I think $12 would become like a near-term support level. So I think that for OCBC, it looks a little bit different from DBS and UOB. I mean, both of them have sold off quite badly and then they staged quite a good rebound or recovery. But for OCBC, you can see that we are pretty much moving sideways, all right, since the beginning of the year. Look at this. So this is like 12.25. I think beginning of the year, we are somewhere around here as well. well. Yeah, back to square one, same thing. We were like about 12.20, 12.30 just at the beginning of the year, and moving up, down, and we are back to square one just at the end of 2022 as well, right? So a bit of a sideways movement, I would say, in terms of the longer term, and that was the range all the way from like maybe $11 to 12.60. Let me just draw it for you. I think that would be the range over the past 1 year, right over here. So $11 to $12.60, right? 11 to 12.60, up, down. So as I say, this 12.60 is key. We definitely want to break above this level, right, for the uptrend to continue to happen, all right? And if that happens, I would say that this longer term moving averages line will all start to point up, and that's where a firmer uptrend can actually happen in 2023. All right, there we have it, guys. I've covered the 3 Singapore banks: DBS, UOB, and OCBC. So I hope that you have a clearer picture of where we are for each of the 3 banks. What's the outlook? What's the trend in terms of the short term? Some of the key levels, the support, and the range, the targets that you want to take note of as well. And also how we look as we head into 2023. All right, so definitely we want to break some of those levels that I talk about. Those are what we call resistance level. We can break those levels, and the moving averages or the trend indicators are looking to point up. We break a resistance. Those are all signs of the trend, all right, starting to firm up in terms of the upwards direction, and then we can look good for 2023. All right, so 2022, I would say that for the banks, it has been pretty much sideways. All right, most of them are back to square one, back to where we were in January 2022. Now it's December, so pretty much back to where we are. It went up and down, but it's back to square one. So hopefully 2023 will be a good year. All right, hopefully we'll see a little bit of a bullish move coming back, especially if all this rate hikes, inflation starts to come down, economy starts to pick up as well. Those are all signs, that could lead the recovery or even stronger move up for the Singapore banks. Alright, so Joey here. I hope you like this video. If you do, go ahead to smash the subscribe button, give me a like as well. That will really help out the channel, and thank you so much for doing that. I look forward to see you in the next video. Take care.